GrammarAsh, do you have any specific ways you like to use to come up with plot points or story stuff? It's a good question. I need to. It's been a while since I've done a writing stream. I should find a way to do that more often. And like sometimes I'll prep sessions on stream. There's still some of those probably in the VODs tab or in like past lives that you can find. The preparing, or I should probably have a playlist I can link up. But preparing to fail is the name of the stream that I do when I'm like writing out and thinking about how to organize sessions. I don't like, generally speaking, brainstorming, but I do like the process that I describe in that video. So I'll use that sometimes. Otherwise, I try to kind of think big and go small, or start small and go big. Sometimes you have to go back and forth a couple different times. So for instance, recently I developed this little monastery town around the idea that there's a seer there, that there's somebody who can see the future, that actually was part of a traveling circus that the party saw like a year prior in the game world. And so it's like, okay, so there's a seer in a town, and that's what they're going to pass by. Well, what would be interesting? Well, I guess like, what if they're not coming to the town specifically, they're passing by it, but what if at one of the places they make camp, they brush aside like clean up a rock, and they see that there's actually a drawing of them with instructions, like somebody's been expecting them at this exact spot because there's a seer nearby and she knew that they would be there. And what else would they do? They'd probably put supplies there because they're about to be attacked by these undead and they need these special tools to evade them. All of that's true because the seer foresaw it, and so the party may want to track back to where that came from and actually interact and talk to this person who can apparently see the future. So it's like starting with an idea of I need for the town, and like, okay, here's like a cool idea that's there, but then how do I relate that to the party in a specific instance? Okay, the party gets there. Well, what are we going to do when we're there? Like, I like for there to be something weird about the town. So one idea was, when I give the players the map of the town, what if a bunch of buildings are crossed out? What if they explore and find out that all these seemingly fine homes are boarded up and nobody can, and they're marked with like evacuation dates and times, and like everybody's basically living on the north end of town. It's like, well, that's weird. They could ask about that, and they're like, I don't know, we do what the seer says, right? Like we trust her, and this is what she instructed us to do. This is what we do. So yeah, we had to leave our homes, and we now are all living in the castle over here or whatever. But then like a day or so later, the town is attacked by enemies of the party, and they're hit with like fire arrows from outside of town, and those are all the buildings that get hit, right? So like, to some extent, like how I came to those ideas was just kind of looking at each thing and saying, okay, well, what would be interesting? It's like, well, that would be interesting. Okay, but how could I justify that being true? And then finding ways to try to tie everything together into hopefully an interesting couple of sessions as they explore a new town, and get some new quest hooks ultimately. GrammarAsh, lately you've been starting to write a fantasy novel to help develop the abilities of my characters. I've assigned them D&D classes and subclasses. It's been a cool way. Hey, that's neat. Yeah, that's a fun way to sort of develop things, I think. So fun. You fear that you get stuck in this loop of how do I then connect it to the main plot even if I don't have to. So in my case, so yeah, that's push and pull for sure. When I say the party's not going to this monastery town with a seer in it, it's because they're going to the coast to investigate a lighthouse. So this is a distraction. It could be seen that way. However, it's going to be a pretty strong distraction because it's like somebody nearby knows that we're here. Can they see our future? What can we gain from them? I'm hoping it's a pretty big temptation. But yeah, they might blow it off. They might not be interested. They might keep going. Who knows? But if they do go and engage with the seer, well, the seer is like has like bandages wrapped around, and a lot of their acolytes have the same bandages wrapped around their face, around their eyes, because the monster at the lighthouse stole the seer's eyes. The seer can't currently see new things into the future. They're basically, their powers were stuck or were stolen. So even if they take the distraction, the ultimate quest line is, if you guys will retrieve my eyes, I can see into your future again and help. So it's a roundabout way, but I yeah. Uh, Sometimes clues or like information that gets dropped at the end of a little arc, even if it seems unrelated. Like I said, with the idea of the cloak and the necklace being a clue that connects to the big bad, could be maybe you stumble onto an seemingly unrelated but tied plot line that sometimes I think it's okay for, sometimes our players are heroic just because they're in the wrong place at the right time. Players engage more if you do a few sentences. I like doing voices too. I'm terrible at. I need to do a better job. I need to come up with a better system for remembering how the characters speak. Even if I write down notes, that's really not good enough. I need to probably start recording voice memos for myself of like, this is what this creature or this character sounds like. Even though I don't do a ton of voices or anything like that, I think that can be fun, but can also sometimes distract me from probably the more important stuff.